Welcome to Stihl Incorporated's Chainsaw Safety, Maintenance, and Operation. This program has been developed to give chainsaw operators the basic information needed to properly and safely use a chainsaw. Although this program will cover a wide variety of subjects, Stihl always recommends that before you operate your chainsaw, read and fully understand your owner's manual. This manual will cover the important items that will be specific to your chainsaw's design, features, and operation. Okay, it's time to get to work. Your cutting experience should consist of several steps. First, make sure you have all the equipment you'll need. Your chainsaw, fuel oil mix, bar and chain oil, items needed to maintain your saw, an axe, wedges, water, a first aid kit, cell phone, and very important, a partner. It's recommended that you always have a partner with you and not work alone to help share the workload, as well as to watch out for each other and be available in the case of an emergency. One very important rule: never operate your chainsaw if you're not in good physical condition and mental health, fatigued, or under the influence of any substance which might impair vision, dexterity, or judgment. If you have any condition that might be aggravated by strenuous work, check with your doctor before operating a chainsaw. The first task is to prepare your chainsaw for use. Begin by giving it one more inspection, looking for loose, missing, or broken parts, a chain that is sharpened and adjusted properly, and a chain brake that operates properly. Fueling your chainsaw should be done on a clear and level surface, and always fuel your chainsaw in an area that will be a minimum of 10 feet from where you'll be starting the saw to avoid the chance of lingering fuel vapors from igniting. Wipe away any debris from around the fuel cap and release the cap slowly. Pressure can build up in your fuel tank, and by slowly removing the cap, you will allow this excess pressure that may exist to release gradually. Fill the tank with the proper fuel oil mix and reinstall the fuel cap. Wipe away any excess fuel that may be spilled on the chainsaw or the surface where your chainsaw is sitting. If you happen to get any fuel on your clothing, change them immediately before using your chainsaw. Every time you add fuel to your chainsaw, you must also add bar and chain lubricant to the oil reservoir. Again, clean the area around the filler cap with a rag and remove the cap. Once full, replace the cap and wipe away any oil which may have spilled. Next, inspect the area where you will actually be working. Determine what you will be cutting, whether it's a standing tree or a tree already lying on the ground, and then plan your work. Regardless whether you are felling a tree or working around downed trees, you must first look for obstacles that will help you determine the proper steps to take. If power lines are in the vicinity and near the wood you'll be working on, it's recommended that you have a professional with the proper tools and experience do the work for you. The same holds true if you'll be working near buildings, structures, or other types of personal property, such as vehicles or fences. Look for limbs and snags that may be located in the tops of trees in the area you're working in, referred to as widowmakers by professional loggers. Cutting wood with a chainsaw produces vibrations in the wood that can be just enough vibration to release a snagged limb. Disregarding this precaution and being struck by falling limbs has injured many chainsaw operators, both seriously and fatally. Also, be keenly aware of the weather. If the weather is rainy or windy conditions exist, it is advised that you postpone your work to another time. Wood becomes very slippery when wet, which can cause you to lose your footing, possibly resulting in serious injury. And wind can make it very difficult to manage the wood you are cutting, particularly when felling a tree. Other than the people who are there to assist you with your work, your partner, never allow anyone else or pets to be in or near the work area. The people working with you must always maintain a safe distance from the chainsaw and the work you are doing. Develop a set of hand signals or other gestures to communicate with each other at a safe distance from the work area. Clear the area where you will be working to allow solid footing and safe movement. Evaluate the conditions of the wood you'll be cutting and the surrounding area, and make a plan on how you will proceed with the work in the safest possible manner. There are some basic rules that you should always follow when using your chainsaw. When moving about with your chainsaw, the engine should always be turned off and the chain brake engaged. The bar should be positioned behind you and the muffler pointed away from your body. If you have a scabbard for your bar, it's recommended that you have it installed when transporting your saw. Never walk with the bar positioned in front of you. Even with the engine off and the chain brake engaged, if you were to fall and come into contact with the chain, you could easily cut yourself on the chain. As you're working with your chainsaw, always hold the saw firmly with both hands. Never, under any circumstance, operate your chainsaw with one hand. Doing so will enhance the chances that you could become seriously or even fatally injured while using the chainsaw. Regardless of whether or not you're a right-handed person, you must always grip the front handle with your left hand. Make sure that your fingers and thumb are wrapped around the handlebar. Do not operate your saw with the thumb not fully engaging the handlebar. Your right hand will grip the rear handle and also operate the throttle trigger, throttle interlock, and the chainsaw controls. When operating your Stihl chainsaw, the master control lever can easily be accessed by the thumb of your right hand while still maintaining a firm grip on the rear handle with your fingers. When cutting wood, always make sure you have firm, solid footing and keep your back straight using your legs and knees to adjust your height. Always operate the chainsaw with the bar and chain positioned to the right of your body, never in line with your body. This will greatly decrease the chances of serious or fatal injury in the event your chainsaw experiences a reactive force event or kickback. If you're moving between cuts, always engage your chain brake prior to movement and don't release the chain brake until you're ready to begin your next cut. This will also decrease the chances of serious injury if the saw were to become entangled in limbs or shrubbery, or if you were to accidentally drop or lose control of the saw. If you need to clear away brush or limbs as you're working, always engage the chain brake first. If you have a significant amount of brush or limbs to move, or heavy objects, it is recommended that you engage your chain brake and shut the saw off before clearing those objects. If you're starting the chainsaw in the immediate work area, regardless of the method you use, ground starting or standing starts, make sure you have a clear, unobstructed area to do so. Never try and start the saw in a confined area or in an area with projecting limbs or brush that can come into contact with the bar and chain. If you've become fatigued or out of breath, engage the chain brake, turn off the chainsaw and take a break. And always drink lots of fluids. Do not operate your chainsaw without the proper protective apparel and clothing. If you have a partner with you, always make sure that they keep a safe distance from the area you're working in, and never allow them to hold or brace any wood that you are cutting. Never allow 2 or more chainsaws to be used at the same time in the same work area. 2 people cutting on or near the same piece of wood can change the balance of the wood or release limbs that can cause one or both operators to become injured without warning. Never operate your chainsaw above shoulder height, and never use a ladder or any other object to stand on to increase your reach. Doing so will increase your susceptibility to dangerous reactive force situations, as well as the chances that you could lose your footing and fall, possibly landing on a running chainsaw with the chain turning, a very serious or even fatal situation. If you have limbs to cut that are above shoulder height, Stihl makes specially designed saws with extended reach to perform those operations, like the one shown here. It is recommended that you use one of these products for this work, or turn the job over to a professional that has the proper training and equipment to finish the job. No matter what the job, whether it's a tree lying on the ground, partially suspended above the ground, or a standing tree, you must always evaluate the job and the dynamics of the situation before you begin cutting. As you are in the process of cutting wood, the dynamics of the tree, the weight and balance will change. For example, here we have a tree ready to be limbed and then bucked into firewood length. With the larger and heavier limbs, there could be a chance that the tree will shift its position as the weight of those limbs are taken away. Make sure that you evaluate this prior to beginning your cutting, and that you position yourself and plan your work accordingly. We hope that this program will help make your chainsaw cutting experience a safer and more enjoyable one. For further information about your Stihl chainsaw, see your authorized Stihl dealer. For more information on Stihl, please see our website at stihlusa.com or phone us at 1-800-GO-STIHL.